What's going on, guys? This is Burrs. How the hell are you? How the hell am I? A lot of you have reached out and said, what's going on with you? Let's see some more videos. Yada yada yada. So here's the video. I've actually been taking like a little bit of a break. Mrs. Burrs and I went and got married. We didn't just go and get married. We planned and got married. So now we are officially Mr. and Mrs. Burrs. Went down, did some open ocean swimming and snorkeling, kayaking down in the Keys for a honeymoon, and came back, and here we are, back in, you know, the election, pandemic, the usual stuff. But I've actually noticed since the election, I've kind of turned off the TV and don't even care anymore for the most part. I'll interact and stuff, but it's not to the level it was before. So there's that. Maybe that'll help you if you're out there watching the news all day. That doesn't help. I don't think it helps. But we can talk about that a little bit later. First off, let's get into what I'm looking to do. So what have I been up to? I've been planning to build an axe. And the reason is, I mean, I have lots of axes. You know, you've seen a lot of my axes in videos. Well, we can talk about each of these axes I have here, which we'll do that. But what I want to do is actually make an axe. So here I got a nice 36-inch. This one's for a double bit. So I have a single bit, which is a Northern King. Had to go get it. This is a Northern King. So this is one that was made, I believe, in Minnesota. But I'm going to be buying vintage axe heads. Like I said, I got this single bit, got two double bits coming in the mail. One's a Craftsman, and the other one's a Man. So I'm going to be making these. And I got the double bit handle here. I'm still waiting on the single bit, the boy's axe. I'm going to use a boy's axe 28-inch handle for this one. And get into that. I've watched a lot of videos, read a lot of books. Not really. I don't learn by books. I learn by visual learning and talking to people about how to do things. So books are okay. Just not a book kind of person. So there's that. I can talk to you about my axes, which some people have asked about over the last year. But let's talk about the axes I have. Number one, Wetterlings. I have 3 Wetterlings axes. Wetterlings, you can't get a Wetterlings axe anymore in the States. This is the first one I bought. This is one I purchased when Dave Canterbury was on Dual Survival, probably around 2010 maybe. But I bought this. This is like my first like real like expensive axe I bought. You know, you usually just go to the hardware store, get some crap. I've done that in the past when I was a younger man. As I get older, I appreciate things. So probably about 10 years ago I bought this, and you can see the cheeks are a little bit raised on it. It's a little heavy for backpacking, but the size is great, and I put a little wrap on the front here. The one thing you want to look for axes to see if a person actually knows how to use their axe is that this part right here, this is all chewed up, which as you can see mine's not. As long as you see wear on the head like they're using their axe, and this isn't messed up, you can see they're a pretty good axeman. They're pretty good with an axe. If you see this is all chewed up, that means they're just overreaching, or they don't have a good technique. But anyway, so I got this. This is like a 19-inch handle. So that was the first one I bought as a Wetterlings. And I don't know if I have a video on this one or not. So I had that one. Then I moved on and bought this Wetterlings, which has a different sheath on it because this is the only time Wetterlings has let me down. The sheath on this, the rivets popped out and then the axe was coming through. So put a different sheath on this, but this is a large hunter axe. I have a video on this. And again, another Wetterlings axe. Nice size, it's about 19 inches. Not a huge head on it there. But it's a great, you know, backpacking axe. I've taken this backpacking. Murs uses this a lot. He likes it when we go backpacking. I like it a lot when I go backpacking. This is the one I'll grab. Some people say, you know, you don't want to have a ton of weight in your backpack. I like to bring some weight because I like to make things. I like to make seats and structures and stuff like that. So you gotta take, you know, an axe with you if you want to do that. I don't mind the weight. Some people be like, oh, you have no idea what you're doing. Look at all that stuff you're bringing along. Do you see me complaining about the weight? Maybe you complain about the weight because you're a pansy, but I'm not. So, move on to this axe, which was a less Stroud designed Wetterlings. So as you can see, I loved Wetterlings when they were around. Good product. So, you know, like this first one I showed you, I think I got that for 75 bucks. The second one, it's probably around 85, maybe 90. And like I said, these aren't around anymore. Wetterlings does not make axes. I have a Hults, which I believe Hults Bruk makes those, which is a great company. Those are the ones that I would recommend now. Hults, you can find them on eBay, you probably find them on eBay. But like, yeah, Amazon. I'll put links down below to some axes I've seen out there. But those would be the ones I'd recommend. I love my Hults axe I have. It's a great size. I don't have it here, it's in the shed. You guys have seen the shed before. But this is the garage, the back of the garage. I got all my tools and stuff. So we'll talk about that maybe after the axes. But this is a design by Les Stroud, who's Survivor Man if you watch TV or anything. And I like how it's a unique head. It's a unique design. This handle's unique. You don't see this handle very often out there. It's almost like a tomahawk, you know, handle, but long. And it has a nice heavy head with a nice smacker on the back. I like this one. This would be one I would take if I'm going in the survival mode. You know, a little bit heavier. And this is a little bit longer too. This is, I think, a 23, and then the large hunter's axe is a 19, something like that. So anyway, yeah, this is the other one that I got. Like it a lot. Review is also out there on that one, and that takes me down to, like I said, I have the Hults, and you guys have seen that in the past. I also posted about it on social media. Here's one that let me down. This is a Dave Canterbury helped design council tool, and I'm just not in love with it. Not in love with it. I don't grab it and get excited. I do for the handle. The handle's really thin. It's not a real thick handle, but it's American made. But just the ability to do what I want to do with it, it's just not there. It's made well, it feels well in your hand, but it's just a little too thin down here at the bottom for my liking, just a smidge. So it actually kind of, with that narrowness down here where your hand's gonna be, it bangs into your hand more than like a Wetterlings would, which has more beef at the bottom. I don't mind, you know, a little bit thinner, but it's a little too thin for my liking. What I'm probably gonna do is when I make this vintage axe right here, which will probably have a handle that's similar to this as far as length goes, I'm probably gonna give this to my son. He's a firefighter, just turned 20, and I'll probably give this to him. He'll probably appreciate it more. He doesn't have an axe yet. He does have backpacking stuff, but he doesn't have an axe yet, so I'll probably may give this to him this year after I make that other one for myself, because I don't want to give away the first one I make. You know, if I make this, it comes out good. I don't have any doubts it will, but you know, I'm probably want to keep the first axe I make, so we'll do that. We'll keep that. We'll give that one to my son. Lastly, we got this Helko Werk. This is a German axe, and this is a like an American large felling kind of axe. And I actually redid the angle on this a little bit with a file, but this is a large axe. I think it's a 28. Yeah, I think it's a 28-inch handle. Let's double check. 32. So this is a 32-inch handle, and it got some meat to it. I like it. Haven't used it a ton, but reprofiled the edge. It was a little dull when I got it, but it's a German axe, and this is one of the axes I bought after I saw Wetterlings was you're not able to get them very easily. I bought this one and two other ones I don't really use much that are in my basement. Those are the main axes I use and have. for different reasons. And Swedish steel, you can't beat it. Old school American steel, can't beat it. So Northern King, I'm excited about this. Marshall Wells, Northern King. So I'll do a little go along video. If you guys are interested in watching me make this and just pop on the camera over there and make this axe, once I get all the stuff in, let me know. We'll do that. So that's as far as the axes go. Just waiting on some parts to put those together. I think what I'm going to do is give them away as gifts. So I'll probably keep this. I'll keep the first double bit I make, and then the second double bit I make, I will go ahead and give that away for a Christmas present probably. What else is going on? Well, I redid this. This is a lance tooth saw, old school logging saw. You can see I did a sharpening job on it. Went ahead and took the handle off and the grab handle here on the top part. Took this all apart, re-linseed oiled it, did some Danish oil. And I got this at an estate sale. And I always wanted a lance tooth that was like about 3 feet. Nice, saw that you could get a scabbard for and then take it into the woods with you. Always wanted one. So got this recently, redid that. And like it a lot. There we go. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with this wall. I think with this wall, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like 1x4s. Here we go. It's a 1x4. I'm going to take 1x4s and put them up here, stack them up, kind of like what's that lab, whatever. Put these on here. I'll probably stain it with some Helmsman polyurethane. Do go for a natural look and do a little polyurethane, 50-50 mineral spirits and polyurethane to give it a nice thin coat. And slap those up on the wall. Finish this wall off. When we bought the house, they didn't do this wall with insulation. So I tore down the drywall, put insulation back up, put the drywall back up. Now I think I'm just going to sand it down relatively smooth and may throw some wood up on the wall. Give it a different look. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, this right here is my grandfather's. I got before he passed away about 5 years ago. And it's just been sitting around. I went ahead and started stoning it to kind of get some of the crap off of it. But this is USA made, warranted superior as well. This one's definitely longer. So I'm doing that. He took care of his stuff. He was the guy that would take a 5-gallon bucket, put sand in it, pour motor oil in it, and then when he was done using his tools, like a shovel, he would push it in and out of the 5-gallon bucket to clean it, and then to also lube it so it didn't rust. So anyway, and I have that shovel of his. He did masonry, built houses, so he had a lot of tools and he took care of them. And I definitely learned a lot of things from him in regard to that. But yeah, here's an old tool. People ask me about what tools I have. This is a draw knife, so I'm going to use that when I'm making the axe. This is old school as well. When people ask me about my tools, what kind of tools do you got? I'm really happy with this. This is an old school Irwin drill bit set. I got this canvas leather or wax canvas kind of roll for it. These are old school bits that go with the what was this, a bit and brace and bit, and they are super sharp. They don't make tools. A lot of tools they make nowadays are not on par with what you can get way back in the day. So a lot of times I'll go on eBay or something, or maybe try to find a estate sale and get my tools that way. So a lot of them are older. This is my grandfather's handle, or hammer. This is a Miller's Falls. All I do is I linseed oil the handle once a year. You can see it's super duper cool. Nice, taken care of. My favorite. But anyway, yeah, I got normal tools. I got like a miter saw, grinder. I don't have like a wire wheel. I'm probably going to have to get a few things to make these axes. Buy a few tools here, but I mean, I got all the normal stuff guys have, so, you know, it's all the tools I got. People ask me what tools I got. So that's what I'm doing in terms of that. This year did the tractor. You guys saw that video, so I learned a ton about, you know, small engines and tractors and stuff. Did the picnic table. So all those are videos. You can make a picnic table. The picnic table's doing awesome. It was out all summer long outside and looks just like I had made it. Just wipe it down with some good like wood cleaner. Looks just like I made it, you know, from the day I was done. So, you know, you do things right, you use the right stuff, like nice light coats of polyurethane, then some nice heavy coats of polyurethane on things, like the Helmsman spar urethane that I put on that picnic table. Take care of things, they're gonna last a while. So I should probably get 5 years out of that without having to urethane it again, or polyurethane it again. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing in terms of the axes. Like I said, Mrs. Burrs and I got married, awesome, and the election happened. So the election's interesting because the way I see it as of this moment, no matter who wins, each side is going to feel as though the election was stolen from them. So if what Trump is saying in regard to the fraud, if it is true and it does come out in a court of law, then all the liberals are going to feel like it was stolen. If that gets denied and that doesn't really get, you know, see the light of day, so to speak, then you're going to have all the conservatives that are going to feel like it was stolen. So this is the first time in history that I can remember where either side, maybe 2000 was similar, but I just didn't really pay attention at that point. But this is the first time where people, I think on either side, are going to 100% think the election was stolen. And even, it's just such a different time right now than it was in the year 2000. In the year 2000, things were a little more civil. Nowadays, you just have radicals all around. So I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. But how much time I got left on this? But, you know, I always ask myself one question about politicians and anything in general. Donald Trump's claims, as of yesterday, from his legal team, are reasonable, in my opinion. And I've always looked at things in that manner. And I supply, is this reasonable? So is it reasonable for someone who ran for president and got 78 million votes, or whatever it was, 76, 78, for them to see that there was, you know, like in Wisconsin, Wisconsin, you cannot go in, you can't just, they don't mail out ballots in Wisconsin. I think it's Wisconsin. You can't just mail out ballots. You have to request it. So they had, like, say 100,000 that got requested. And they got back 150 or 200,000. Well, it doesn't add up. So is it reasonable for someone to ask who's running for president who got votes to say, I want that looked at? I don't think that's it, you know, I don't think that's unreasonable. And I would do the same thing if Joe Biden found that and had questions about it as well. I'd feel the exact same way. Is it reasonable? Is it reasonable that there's election software that's used that could potentially have the ability for people to go in and change a Trump vote to count as 0.75, and like a Biden vote to count as 1.25. So you get more votes for Biden. Is it possible? And looking at the facts of the software, yes. So is it reasonable to look in to see if maybe that was done or not? Because there was these strange times. So anyway, that's how I feel about things. Is it reasonable? And I had this moment where Biden came out and the news networks kept saying that he's going to say that he won the election. And this was, I think, the third day after the election. Maybe fourth. It was the Saturday after. That's what it was. The Saturday after the election. And I said to myself, you know, if he comes out and he says, it was actually 3 days after the election. Saturday was when they actually declared it, but he said 3 days after the election he won. And I was saying to myself, if he comes out and he says, I do see these things that President Trump's mentioning. There are some, irregularities. There was some, things that need to be, figured out. And I totally support the president, and I agree that these things need to be figured out. I said, if he says something to that effect, and doesn't come out and just railroad that he won the election, I'll gain some respect for him, because I don't have any. I don't have a lot of respect for the guy. But he would have gained some if he would have came out and said something to that effect. And then, said, hey, just like in 2000, it took 30 some days to get through XYZ. It might take some time to go through this. We had some new things that happened this year with mail-in voting in different areas that never mail-in voted before. I can understand that, but he didn't. He just came out and said blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. I lost respect for him in that manner. But there's a lot of things, like gun-related. You saw the videos on gun-related things that I've put out. Taxing any assault weapons you own, magazines you own, and then, taking away the Veterans Second Amendment Rights Act. Who does that? And then banning online sale of ammunition, gun parts, and guns. I can't get behind stuff like that. That's very radical in a free society. So that's how I feel about that. What else is going on? Took the tractor, had a birthday party for the little guy, and took the kids on tractor rides, so that was cool. The tractor's doing good. It doesn't run perfect, it starts up a little rough. I think I actually need to adjust the carb because when I pull the carb out a little bit when it's running, it runs better. So I gotta adjust the carb to add a little more fuel into the mixture to make it perfect. But we're using it. I mowed with it a couple times. The only thing I noticed is it's older. It doesn't have mulching blades. So when I do go out and mow, I have to make sure it's not a lot, or it's just gonna cut and throw a really big piece of grass out into the yard and then just make it look gross. So that'll be good for, going out and mowing real quick 2 or 3 times a week, maybe next year. Just making sure it doesn't have a ton of grass. So other than that, though, it's a fun little toy. It helps move stuff around. We have a compost pile that we made behind the shed that we're actually going to move up into an actual area of the yard that we're going to enclose with some wood walls and make an actual compost bin. And I'm going to buy a cart, and it's a lot of stuff that we got to take up there. So it's going to come in handy for a lot of yard stuff next year. Since we're getting towards the winter time, not a lot of yard stuff going on. But yeah, sometimes you do things. I wanted to do that and did it, challenge myself, and that's kind of what the axe thing is about. I like new challenges. I can pick up a gun and shoot a gun. I know how to shoot a rifle. I know how to do tactics. I'm not saying I know everything, but I have a good understanding of things in relation to the gun world, hunting, and you see me do videos on courses and plate carriers, war belts, holsters, concealed carry, gun reviews. I used to do gun reviews a long time back in the day, and honestly, to this day, I only do reviews on guns I own. So you see other channels, they make this a business, and they have guns sent to them, constantly, which is fine. This is not my channel. My channel is more about me, and if I have anything to bring to the table as far as information on things I have or things I buy, then I will. So, I went out and shot a Ruger American Predator rifle and fell in love with it. It was great. Just like that Ruger American Hunter I have, it's heavy. It's like 9.5 pounds. The American Predator is an 18-inch barrel, 308. It's a little bit heavier barrel, but it's 18 inches. It's it's like a mountain gun, and I fell in love with that thing. And I'm going to do a review on that because I'm getting one. So you'll see that in the future. I got to figure out a scope for it. So you'll see that gun in the future. But you're also going to see me making an axe. You're also going to see me kind of talking about, the saw back there. and some axes and stuff. Like, I still haven't reviewed any of these axes, but you know, this is an axe that you can readily buy on Amazon. So people ask questions all the time, like the Wetterlings. People are like, hey, what excuse me, hey, what axe do you recommend? And I'm like, I recommend the Wetterlings, but I can't do that anymore. So I need to give a recommendation of an axe I recommend. So that got me thinking, because you know, as a YouTube channel, you get asked questions all the time. So I wanted to come up with something, and the Hults is the one I'm going to recommend going forward. So I got to make a video on that, because people ask me all the time, based off the reviews I've done in the past with axes, hey, the link you have is broke, or hey, can't find this anymore, what happened? And then I got to tell them that. So I think a video would help out with that. So anyway, we'll do that. Otherwise, you know, that's what's going on here. What is going on in your world? What do you guys think about the election? And have any of you actually tried to make an axe? Can't wait to get this out. Have any of you tried to build an axe? And if you have, go ahead and put it in the comments down below. It doesn't look too terribly challenging. It looks more tedious than challenging, which is okay. It's similar tediosity as to the valve train I replaced in the mower. So, you know, attention to detail. So if you guys have made axes out there, go ahead and put that down below. And I don't know, if you want to see me make this axe, I'll just set it down and I can talk as I make the axe, let me know. But that's all I got. What do you guys think about the world and axes, lawn care? Put down there below what's going on with you guys. Until next time, later.